everybody. So this is episode 7, part 8 on YouTube and part 30, I think, on TikTok. Sorry if you hear any background noise. There's a lot of people moving around, but I hope that you'll enjoy this episode. I'm going to combine two siblings, Anacaona and Behechio, also known as Anacaona, the male version of Anacaona. And as a reminder, I'm doing all of these videos for us, those who were born and raised, or whatever your situation is, outside of the island, so that we can better understand our history, our culture, and who we are as a people. And I could definitely say that these videos are not just for us Dominicans. This is the beginning of all of Latin America. So no matter what country you are from, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Venezuela, Colombia, etc., etc., you're more than welcome to take the time and learn about the beginnings of the Spanish colonial conquest. Because each conquest was different. Every single country that now exists in Latin America got a different version of the Spanish. That's why even though we all speak the same language, technically, it is so different. And also our customs are so different as well. But this is a continuation of my series on the forgotten Taino and Taina warriors of 1492 to 1540, Anacaona and Behechio. The land of the Siboneyes was described in the following way. Bartolomé de las Casas says that Jaragua, this kingdom right here, was the most advanced of all of the kingdoms on the island. I have read in some places that it was the Siboneyes on this side of the island that called the island Haiti. While the rest of the island, for example, on this side, Anigüey, called the Quisqueya, and in the middle portion, called the Behechio. But Bartolomé de las Casas says that Jaragua was the most advanced of the kingdoms, both in language and culture. It was described as having the main court of the entire island. Anacaona and Behechio were siblings. In some places, I have read that they were from the same mother, and others that they were from different mothers. However, it can be a clue that they had the same name, Anacaona and Anacachoa, the male version of Anacaona. This could be a clue that they were possibly twins. And we know through the Taino's legends that they were blessed with twins and maybe even quadruplets. There is a myth, a Taino myth, that describes quadruplets. Their father was El Cacique con Catequa. We don't know enough about the Taino political system to understand why Concatequa named both of his children as his heirs. But I'm not sure if that's actually the case, because when we hear about Behechio and we get to know about Anacaona, it is never mentioned that she's the Cacique. She's the Cacique after Behechio died. Among the two of them, the first Cacique that we hear is about Behechio. And we don't know when he was born. What we do know is that when a Cacique had a child, something special happened. Bartolomé describes the process. He says, "Cuando a algún cacique le nace un hijo, acuden los reyesuelos vecinos, cada cual saluda al niño de manera distinta. Salve, lámpara brillante, dice uno. Reluciente, exclama otro. Y los demás lo llaman domador de enemigos, nieto de un héroe esforzado, más brillante que el oro, y otras variaciones o variedades. Así recién nacido ha de llevar el nombre, los régulos le imponen." This was one of the ways that the caciques ended up with more than 50 names, which was the case of Behechio. We know he was given around 40 names. Some of them were Huiu, which meant Alteza or Your Highness. Estaré, reluciente, or something very bright. Suriega Obin, resplandeciente como el latón, shiny like brass. Dueniquen, Rio Rico or Rich River. And as I mentioned already, Anacachoa, or Golden Flower. First time that Behechio appears in the record is when Guacanaguerí goes back to Colón in 1494 and tells him that the caciques in the area have now become his enemy. He accuses Behechio of unaliving one of his wives and of Caunabo stealing another. So from the very beginning, Behechio's introduction to Colon is negative. So he's already in his mindset that this is an enemy cacique. We know from the beginning that Behechio is not happy with these people on the island. That is why he attacked Guacanagarim. Caunabo was Behechio's brother-in-law, so they had united in their stance, in their belief that these foreigners had to be taken off the island. Both he and Caunabo would attack any Spanish that they found. It is also believed that Behechio was one of the caciques that basically threatened Guarionex and convinced him to throw out Fray Ramon Pané from his yucayeco. We know that in March 1495, La Batalla del Santo Cerro, the first, I'm going to say, formal battle in the Americas happened. And as Ojeda began to pacify El Cibao, he had managed to capture Caunabo, but it is known that his brother-in-law, Behechio, escaped. So initially, Ojeda had captured Behechio, but he had managed to get out and go back to Jaragua.